Hey, it's been a whole year since I've posted a video, and I'm finally back with a tutorial on how to make the bendable creeper. Here you can see the creeper is pretty flexible. His body can bend 45 degrees, and you can lay his legs flat like this. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to print the template from the description below. And then once you've printed it out, get out a cutting board and you can begin cutting out the pieces. As you can see, I like to use a knife and a ruler, but you could use scissors if you want. Both are fine. The leg pieces are pretty straightforward, just cut along the black lines. For the upper and lower body pieces, just cut along the black lines too, and for the curvy parts, make sure you do that precisely, because that's going to be very important for the bendiness. The rectangle pieces are pretty simple too. All you have to do is cut it out. Yeah. The waist piece is very similar to the upper body and lower body. Make sure you cut it out neatly because it's going to come into play later. And for the head, it's pretty much the same thing as the legs, so just cut that out. Okay, one thing for the head though is, you see this red X here? You have to make sure you cut those two lines so then you can put the head on the neck. Alright, the next step is to fold the pieces. Here I'm just folding it with my fingers, but if you want really crisp folds, you can put it against the table and press on it with an object. For this tricky piece here, you want to make sure you don't fold that big chunky rectangle down, because we need to roll that. So now we want to take a pencil, or in this case I'm using the X-Acto knife, to roll that rectangle down, and there we go, see? For the waist piece, you just want to fold it sideways, like this. You don't want to fold those circular parts down. And for the four legs, just fold the piece normally, but see the green flap? You want to fold that the other way, because we need that to glue it to the body. Now for these rectangles, you want to get your pencil and roll them up too. Now that you've gotten all your pieces folded, want to get some glue. You could use a glue stick, or I'm using liquid glue, and I'd like to put them on a note card and use toothpicks to apply it. onto the flaps. For this piece, you want to glue the side together, but don't glue the top flap down, because we need to attach the legs before we do that. For the rectangular pieces, you want to roll it up into a tube, and the thinner the tube, the better. Alright, now that we have all our pieces, it's time for the hardest step, which is to assemble. We are going to start off by attaching the bottom body and the waist piece together. And to do that, we have to glue one of the tubes into the waist. Try to be patient when you are putting the tube into the waist, because this is a very crucial step. Remove any excess glue with a toothpick, and then make sure it dries, like completely dry. And then when you are putting the pieces together, do it like this. You want to get that flap through the tube of the waist, and then you want to glue that flap down onto the lower body. Once this segment has dried, you can glue the 4 legs onto the lower body. You have to be very patient with this step too, because if you aren't, the legs will fall out. So when you attach the legs, give it a good squeeze and let it sit so then it can dry up. Then after, you can finally glue the flap down, and then your bottom half of the creeper is complete. Now take another tube and glue it onto the upper part of the waist, so then you can connect it to the upper body. Now this step right here is probably the most hardest step, because you have to feed the flap of the upper body through the waist, and you can't get your finger in there, so I'm using a toothpick to do this. Now once you get the flap through, you can glue it on. Now that the body is done, you can glue on the neck, and then finally put the head on. And there you go, Bendable Creeper. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and subscribe if you would like to see more.